Okay, I think we are ready to get started. Welcome everybody to the Chicago Transit Authority's full-time bus operator virtual career fair. We're excited that you are all here today to learn more about this position. And with me today are several guests who are going to tell you a little bit more about this role, about CTA and our hiring process. A quick housekeeping note for everybody. We do have our live transcription turned on. So if you want to view this event with subtitles at the bottom of your screen, just go ahead and click that live transcript button at the bottom of your device, and you should see those pop up. Just to give a brief agenda of our event today, we are going to start with learning a little bit about CTA as an organization. Many of you are already familiar, but there might be some things you don't quite know yet. We're going to give an overview of the bus operator, the full-time bus operator position and our hiring process. Then we are going to talk to some of our representatives from our bus operations department and from ATU 241 to again learn a little bit more about this role. And at the end, we will have a question and answer session. So if you do have questions, we encourage you to put those in that Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. You'll note that you are not able to unmute or turn on your camera, and we just do that to prevent any interference with our presentation so that everybody can hear the information as best they can. But without further ado, I want to first introduce my co-host, my panelists today, starting with my recruitment team. So Dara, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dara Pierre. I am a talent acquisition specialist in our talent acquisition department. Nice to meet everyone. Welcome.
Thanks, Dara. Delon.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Delon White. I'm the manager of talent acquisition. It's great to see everybody here today.
Thanks, Delon. Okay, and now moving on to our bus operations team members. Arlana, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon. My name is Arlana Johnson, and I am a general manager of bus operations. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Marisa?
Good afternoon. My name is Marisa Tobzakendelli. I am a senior manager at CTA's Kedzie Garage. Good afternoon.
All right, thank you. And joining us from ATU Local 241, the president of the union, Keith Hill. Keith, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Keith Hill. I'm the president of Amalgamated Transit Union Local 241 and a bus operator for 25 years.
All right, thank you, Keith. A lot of knowledge that this group has about this position. So just a reminder, if you do have questions for any of our folks on the call today, throughout the presentation, just make sure that you are sending those to us through that Q&A button. But without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Dara to tell you a little bit about CTA.
Thank you, Lindsay. So welcome everybody again. I am one of the employees in our HR department. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about the open roles in the operations department and then the process of applying and then the hiring process. Here at CTA, we are very mission driven. Our mission is to deliver quality, affordable transit services that link people, jobs, and communities. They always ask me, well, how does this apply to you? Long time ago, I'll say I was a bus operator and I drove out of what they call the 77th garage, and younger, decided to leave to pursue a family. And then once my children were of age and didn't really need me anymore, I took the opportunity to come back to this organization because at that moment I knew when I left that it was going to be very sad and I was never going to be fulfilled because I definitely enjoyed my time here at CTA. I didn't come back in the same capacity as driving a bus, but I came back in the capacity of working at HR to make sure we get that talent, we hire that talent to continue to move our city. And so I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of a staple of our city and very excited to get to let you all know what we got going on here. So a quick overview, CTA is an organization that has approximately 10,000 employees, and that is both union and non-union employees. We serve the Chicagoland area, of course, and approximately 35 surrounding suburbs. We have 130 bus routes with 8 rail lines. Some locations are, of course, our downtown office where our non-union employees are housed, someone like myself, Lindsay, as well as other non-union employees. And then we have 7 bus garages We have garages as far north as Flores Glen and as far south as 103rd Street. We have 9 rail terminals and much, much more here at the CTA. So the CTA is led by our first African-American gentleman, Dorval Carter. He is a pioneer when it comes to transit. I have the pleasure of saying that I work for an organization that is very diverse. Our diversity task force is consistently working on ways to educate our employees on how to cultivate an equitable and inclusive workplace. We spearhead many projects in the city, and if you're from the city, you see some of the things that we have going on. But one example would be the Red Line extension, which will extend the CTA rail service throughout several areas and several neighborhoods further south in the city. Here at CTA, we are dedicated to ensuring we are an organization where employees feel like they belong. Our Equal Opportunity Department hosts ongoing diversity and inclusive discussions throughout the year. So let's talk a little bit about the careers. Here in operations, some of the careers that we have going on are bus operations, rail maintenance, bus maintenance, and then we have those infrastructure positions, power and way, construction, engineering, and facility maintenance. So those infrastructure positions are some of those individuals you may see working on some of our construction projects that you see throughout the city. One being, like I spoke earlier, that Red Line project. So some other careers that you may not know about is some of our non-union positions and some of our administrative positions where we have in law and technology, finance, human resources, communication, safety, planning, the list just goes on and on. So we're just not moving people. We have some individuals who work in the background to ensure that we are staying committed to providing quality service to you all. So today we're here to talk about the bus operator position. So a quick overview is the operators are someone who pretty much not only drives a bus, but they drive a bus with a certain route. So they get predetermined routes. They provide efficient customer service, very customer service oriented. Your manner in how you treat your passengers should be the same as how you drive that bus down the street. They are both hand in hand. You need to make sure, so for me, big thing was curbing that bus correctly, making sure that your individuals or your passengers get off the bus safely, and ensuring that you're monitoring your doors and people are clearing the doors before you pull off. So some requirements to be a bus operator. You must submit and pass a drug and alcohol test. You have to be at least 21 years of age, have an acceptable driving record, and have a state of Illinois Class B CDL permit with the 3 endorsements, which are knowledge, passenger, and air brakes. Just want to be clear, you don't have to have a CDL to apply for the position. If you move forward in the process and selected, the next step would be for you to obtain your CDL permit. And so you are given a grace period to obtain that before you can move to the next step. So right now, some of the opportunities with the CTA, something new that we're excited about is the full-time bus operator position. In the past, we have never had this. Individuals will come in as a part-time operator, but now we have the opportunity of giving out the status of the full-time bus operator, as well as the special part-time bus operator position. CTA is a 24/7 organization. So in the beginning, of course, schedules are not set in stone. You just need to be able to be flexible, that we ask our candidates. So the starting pay is $24.27 an hour. There is a 30 to 45 day paid training. Some locations, people ask me, well, how do I know where I'll be located? It is based on the need and the manpower where it's needed. So you aren't able to necessarily pick the location where you will be housed out of. And then shifts in the beginning, of course, are kind of selected. You'll be placed on an extra board. And so shifts are not determined until the day before you are to report. So an ideal bus operator would be someone who has strong people skills, definitely strong people skills, someone who values customer service, who is committed to safety, who is committed to being flexible, Yes, we want you to be on time. We actually want you to be safe when you are driving that bus down the street. And so a potential growth track, and this is just not set in stone. The sky is the limit here at CTA, but we see some of our bus operators on this growth track, and that would be, you're coming in as a bus operator, and some individuals like to go and transition into applying for a clerk, and then some individuals will move forward and apply for a bus instructor or supervisor. Then some go to bus controller. Then they'll apply for a management position and so forth and so forth. But understand this is not something that's just predetermined. You are allowed to move however you like to, whatever is in line with your experience. So right now, we like to show a short video. You'll meet some employees from our Kedzie Garage and hear what they have to say about their time here at the CTA.
Oh, Dara, I think we might have the audio off on the video. Dara, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have the audio is off on the video.
Playing on this end.
Okay, maybe pause it for a moment, because I think when we shared your screen, we forgot to maybe click the button to hear the audio that you're playing on your computer too. Can you pause it for a moment? Okay. Still not quite working. So maybe we can just go ahead and skip this slide, because I think the audio is we want to make sure we hear it if possible. So we can go ahead and move forward.
So some of the opportunities right now we'll talk about at CTA are, of course, what we're here today for is the bus operator position. And so the bus operator position right now, starting, like I said, $24.27 an hour. Then the special part-time bus operator position is as well as $24.27 an hour. It's just not full-time.
Oh, there you go.
Alrighty. So our hiring process. Here at the CTA, if you're interested in any of our opportunities, we'll tell you to go to our careers website. And as you see the website right here on the screen, you'll fill out a profile. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes. You'll submit the application, but I do stress, remember to upload your resumes. When our recruitment team is going through and sourcing, we source by completed profiles and ensuring that resumes are submitted with the profile. We'll just have a complete profile. So what are we looking for when we're looking for candidates? We're looking for whether you are qualified for the position based on your years of experience, whether the position requires you to have a degree or a certificate, whether you have the most recent resume. There are opportunities that are constantly coming around in CTA, and you may want to apply for some opportunities, so forth and so forth throughout the year. I just ask that you remember to update our resume so that the recruitment team, when they're sourcing, they are able to capture the most recent experience. Whether the position requires you to have a valid driver's license or not, ensure that you are qualified or have all the qualifications based on that job description. So now we'll move and talk a little bit about the driving abstract. CTA requires that you have a driving abstract for the bus operator position. And that is you can get that through our third party, which is HireRight. In some instances, though, we are unable to obtain your driver's abstract we may ask for you to just obtain it through the Secretary of State. The cost is approximately $12. And those driving abstracts are valid for 30 days. So if you're looking for an opportunity that is after the 30 days and it requires us to have a driving abstract, you will need to obtain a new one. Some of the things that the team looks for, and just to review over, are some of the things you see on the screen, but not limited to. And so once you have applied for the position and then you are selected to move forward to the next steps, that would be an assessment. And so most of our positions require you to take an assessment. The bus operator position is the same. There is a written online assessment. And once you have completed that assessment, it goes to our assessment team who grades it and lets you know if you passed or failed. If you pass, that is valid for 3 years. So if you apply for another position in operations that requires the same assessment, if it's within a 3-year time frame, you won't have to retest. However, on the other end, if you fail, you would have to wait a year until you can take the recess of the assessment again. So when it comes to our interview process, majority of our interviews are done via Zoom now. They are video interviews. And so they last about 30 to 45 minutes. They're with a HR representative, which is a recruiter, as well as the hiring manager. Some things we discuss are our work history for the candidate, education and skills, previous experience. CTA utilizes the STAR method as their interviewing process. And it just requires individuals to give a more realistic event that they participated in, or some situations that they have experienced, to give us kind of an outlook on how you act or how you respond in different situations. Some interview tips from the recruiting department. Please ensure that you review the job description to make sure that your experience matches up with the job description. Log in early, check your technology, make sure your Zoom is working well. Make sure you're somewhere where you have minimal distractions. Dress appropriate. Yes, it is via Zoom, but it is still an interview. You want to represent yourself in a professional manner. Make sure that everything, you're in a well-lit area. Make sure that your camera is positioned correctly. And be prepared to ask the department questions if you have them. So after the interview process and you're selected and you're going to join the CTA team, that is what we call now the pre-employment process. And so that is comprised of fingerprinting and background checks. It's done with the FBI and Illinois State Police. And then again with the third party hire right. There's also a medical point where you do your DOT physical, your human performance evaluation, drug screening, and then of course, all CTA employees are required to be fully vaccinated. You also will do a fatigue and sleep apnea awareness class online. And once you completed the assessment, you will receive a certificate that is also required to move forward in the process. And so typically the hiring timeline is about a little bit over 30 days from time to apply to you're onboarded, doing all of those different onboarding processes. And then when we have our new employee orientation, every individual who was hired by the CTA participates in a new employee orientation. Right now it's via Zoom. It is a half day, but it is something that is required for every individual from every level in the organization. Some of our benefits are medical benefits, of course, for full-time and part-time employees. The opportunity to travel on our CTA and the PACE transit system for free. There are a lot of retirement options and pension. Once you sign on with CTA, you'll have the opportunity to have a meeting with our benefits department and go over all of those options. There is paid training day one. So that day of NEO, that new employee orientation, you will be paid for that day as well. There are ongoing professional development opportunities here at the CTA. And then of course, the sky's the limit when it comes to career advancement. So at this time, I'm going to kick it back to Lindsay.
All right, thanks so much, Dara. That was a lot of information, and I've started to see some questions come in about some of the things we were talking about. That's great. We are going to try to get to as many of those questions as we can at the end. So keep those coming. Delon is keeping an eye on them, and we are going to try to answer, like I said, as many as we can. But now we are going to transition. So we introduced or asked them to introduce themselves a little bit earlier in the call. some of our friends from bus operations and the local union 241. So now I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Andrew, who is going to interview our folks, and we're going to hear a little bit about what it's like to be a bus operator, and to know a little bit more about what it's like to work in this department. So Andrew, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks so much, Lindsay. So our first question is going to be pretty simple. When did you first start your career at CTA? What was your first position at CTA, and how has your career progressed since then? I'll go ahead and start with Arlana. Why don't you fill us in on your career path here at CTA?
Sure. Good afternoon again. I started with the CTA in 1994. I started as a part-time bus operator, became a full-time bus operator. And from there, I realized that I wanted to do some other things. So I applied to be a transportation clerk. And then I went into supervision. And then from there, I decided to go into management. So I've held various positions in management, a manager one, business manager, a senior manager, and now I'm in my current position as a general manager in bus operations.
Great. Thanks so much, Arlana. Marisa, why don't you tell us about your career path here at the CTA?
I started my career nearly 22 years ago. I was a stay-at-home mom and decided to go return to the workforce. I started as a publications representative in the communications marketing department. But then a colleague advised me to apply for a position in operations, and I did so. I applied for an administration manager position. I was promoted in that position, and I've worked at 103rd Street Garage, Chicago Avenue Garage, also in bus service management, and at CTA's Control Center, which is equivalent to the 911 Center, but it's for CTA. And I'm currently a senior manager at Kedzie Garage.
Thank you. And Keith Hill, I know you're currently working with Local Union 241. Why don't you tell us about how you started in transit and how that got you to where you are now?
Good afternoon, everybody. Once again, in '97, I became a part-time operator. 2000, I turned over to a full-time operator. My full-time tenure, I've been at Forest Glen, Archer. Archer is now closed. Chicago, most of my tenure was at Chicago, and 74 as a bus operator. I've been working with the union 20 years. I've been a board member or officer for 20 years with Local 241 at CTA.
Great, awesome. All right, so the next few questions are going to be a little bit more dialed in based on the position. So the next one here is for Arlana. What training does CTA provide for our full-time bus operator positions?
Okay, well, Dara did go over some of this, but just to be a little bit more specific, CTA has a comprehensive focused training program. Our primary focus being safety and customer service. New hires will receive 35 days of paid training. We provide training on bus familiarization, and that's basic training to provide you with the knowledge and understanding of how a bus operates and the different features of it. As you heard, we have about 130 bus routes. So we do provide route training, which would be route-specific instruction. There's CDL training and qualification. And you will also learn our standard operating procedures as it pertains to operating the bus. This is how we transition drivers into operators, because there is a difference, trust me. And we do that, and throughout your career, you will receive, refresher training pertaining to the things you initially learned, and then new industry best practices as they are introduced. So the training really is ongoing throughout your career, even after the initial training you receive as a new hire.
That's great. Thanks for that information. Keith, how would someone go about joining Local Union 241 once they're working for CTA?
We come and introduce ourselves while they're in training, explain to them what a union is about, the benefits of the union, everything that you see on the slide from your paid benefits to your salary is bargained for through Local 241. So we introduce ourselves and we ask them, we explain the importance of them being a member of the union to keep our strength and our support.
Great, thank you. This one's for Marisa. What are the top skills someone needs for the bus operator position? And what do hiring managers look for?
Sorry, I was muted. Dara hit on a couple of the skills that we're looking for, but I just want to reiterate that we need someone with excellent customer service skills. You have to like people to do what we do here at the CTA. You have to be patient, empathetic, or understanding, have the ability to deal with people from all walks of life. You have to be adaptable and have the ability to treat others the way you like to be treated and spoken to. Dependable. This position requires you to work split shifts, long hours, and weekends. You have to have a strong work ethic and a passion about the work that we do here at the CTA. Our job is to move Chicago and its residents and tourists and people in 35 surrounding suburbs. So we just need our employees to understand our mission and the service we provide here at the CTA.
Great. Arlana, in your opinion, what are the top reasons someone should consider a career as a bus operator or just a career with the CTA in general?
Well, mainly because it's just that, it's a career and it can be very rewarding. So starting career here at CTA, it provides you with the ability to change your circumstances, in your life at your own pace. If you're looking for a career with versatility and security, with competitive salaries and benefits, you should consider this position. As a bus operator, and specifically as a bus operator, not so much CTA, but as a bus operator, you work quite independently and you have a sense of freedom, when you're out there working. And bus operators, they're very crucial to keeping our system running and fulfilling our mission to provide service for the people of Chicago. So there's gratitude in knowing that, there are people who will appreciate you and rely on you daily. So if you enjoy, being hands-on, you enjoy people, you enjoy being engaged with your surroundings, then a bus operator would be a great career choice.
All right, this one's for Keith. What are the benefits of being a union employee?
Well, it comes with a lot of benefits. Like I said, from the paid holidays to the salary, to the time off, to the protection, all that entails of what the benefits of being a union member. Outside of making sure that we keep you on the right course and that you sustain and be here, and making sure the company realize the bus driver is the most important tool or person in this company. Without us moving, we drive through the arteries of the city. Without us moving the city, there's no need for nobody else. So the union keeps the importance of what they do in the forefront.
Thank you. Marisa, what advice would you give someone who's considering a career at the CTA?
The sky is the limit here at the CTA, and I would say you don't have to stay behind the wheel, so to speak. There are so many career options. The great thing about working for a company like CTA, it's like we have a company within a company, so to speak. You can become anything you want to become. There's a career path. You can become a line instructor, supervisor, instructor, controller, clerk, manager. You can go to other departments like human resources, purchasing, communications, etc. It's a great place to work.
Thank you. And then final question is for anyone who wants to answer. What do you enjoy most about working at the CTA? If you had to pick one thing, what's your favorite thing about it?
I'll start. For me, it's the diversity among us as an organization. It allows you to meet people from all walks of life, and you get to develop like really long lasting relationships that really extend outside of CTA. And I know you said one thing, but even as a manager, you know, it provides me the opportunity to pay it forward, even doing career fairs such as this and encouraging people and speaking from experience, you know, to let them know what being a bus operator is like, and then moving on forward, you know, forward from that position as well here at the CCA. So it's just a lot of wonderful things that this organization as a whole provides you in your walks of life.
To piggyback on what Arlana said, the personal connections are phenomenal. Your colleagues become like family and lifelong friends, and no day is the same. That's a great part about working in operations.
All right, great. Well, thank all three of you for joining us. It was really great being able to ask you some questions and hear about your career paths throughout your years here at the CTA, and Keith, moving on up through into the local union. It's really great to see that. That's what we love to see. So I'm going to hand things back over to Lindsay. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Andrew, and thanks to all of our panelists. Now we're going to jump into our question and answer session. So if you could go ahead and advance the slide. There we go. Okay, so Delon has been keeping an eye on the questions that have been coming in through the chat. And then we also had a lot of registration questions that you all submitted. So I am going to turn it over to Delon to go through some of those questions and to invite our panelists to join and share their expertise as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Lindsay. And friends, we've had lots and lots and lots of good questions come in. So hopefully we're able to get through many of them. For those who are attending the session today, you know, we'll try to get through as many of the questions as we can. We may not be able to make it through all of them. If that's the case, you can feel free to reach out to us at the email address that's listed on your screen, ctacareers@transitchicago.com. And we're more than happy to follow up. So we'll jump right into some questions. For some of these, they may be directed towards a certain panel member. And for others, you all can feel free to jump in and add as you'd like to. The first question that came in from registration is, can somebody speak a little bit more to what are the bus operator shifts and how are daily route assignments completed or done? And is there a choice to figure out what part of the city that you work in?
So I'll jump in. Shifts, we are a 24/7, 365 department. So we do various shifts, which, you know, AMs, middays, PMs, overnights, and things of that nature. It is a union position, therefore seniority is key when it comes to selecting your shifts and your routes. So it's really based on where you fall in the seniority process at whatever location you may be assigned to, and that would determine in what can I use the word, in what status that you pick in. So it's a seniority based thing. So it depends on your seniority, and everything is done by seniority. So that's how you determine your routes, garage, shifts, and things like that.
So much, Arlana. Keith, I think this is a question for you. The question is kind of related to when was somebody join the union once they become an employee? And then, what are some of the requirements that are that the employee would need to follow once they're part of the union?
They join the union from day one. There's no requirements to join the union. It's just, I strongly encourage heavy participation, learning what the union is about, because you are the union. You make the union. You have a voice in this union. So the requirements is participation, and as AJ was saying, paying it forth to the person behind you, helping others out with information, right information, you know, as being an active union member.
Excellent, thank you, Keith. And this may be a question for Dara. She might be able to jump in on this one. Do I have to live in Chicago in order to be a bus operator?
No, you don't have to live in Chicago to be a bus operator. No, it is a union position. And so a lot of individuals live in our surrounding suburbs.
Thank you. I'm sure I know the answer to this, but I'll let you guys jump in. How many people are you hoping to hire for this position? And if I'm interested, when can I start applying?
Well, I see over 100 participants. So whatever number is out of that participants, I would like you to hire. And starting today, like right after this is over, would be great.
I knew it was going to be ASAP. Absolutely. We definitely welcome everybody who's interested to apply today. As you can see again on the screen, you can go to transitchicago.com/careers and apply right now. Another question is, can you all speak to the part-time positions that are available for bus operator? What does the workday look like for someone who decides to go into a part-time role?
Did you want to take that one? Go ahead.
It would be similar to that of the full-time role with just the hours. That would be the major difference. It would be the hours that are required weekly.
Yeah, and just to give a little bit more feedback on that, as a part-timer, you would be primarily used to fill that AM and PM rush kind of thing where we would need an additional amount of operators, on any given route at that time. And so you can look to have at times what we call a split shift or a swing shift, where you may come in the AM and then be off a couple hours and come back in the PM rush and things like that. That could happen too when you're a part-timer. So that's the difference in the hours, where it may not be straight through. It may have a little break in between of more than an hour or two, and then you come back and complete your run.
Could I add to that? I understand people might be interested in part-time, but the union fought to bring full-time positions. Part-time, you're giving up benefits, you're giving up seniority, you're giving up rights. Although it might meet your needs, and I'm not trying to discourage you, because we do need part-timers to do school runs. It's a longer workday. Your workday can consist of 13 to 12 hours. Same thing as a full-timer with low seniority who works a swing. But part-timer, you basically are giving up your benefits. And that's the difference between part-time and full-time. I just want to make that clear. I would like for everybody to apply for the opportunity of full-time and come in and with seniority, with the right to obtain and gain benefits, and have a long sustaining career with us as a full-time. That's something that the union fought for, and something that I'm gonna keep pushing.
Thank you, Keith, for that addition. We really appreciate it. Another question, and Dara, you might want to start with this one, and then other folks can jump in if they'd like to. Can you explain a little bit more or restate the process of the CLP, the Commercial Learner's Permit, and the CDL? What does someone need in order to be considered for the role?
Okay, so to be considered, like I said, I want to reiterate again, you don't have to have the CDL when you apply. It's nice, but you don't have to have it when you apply. Once you do the interview process and you are selected to move the next steps, there is a 30-day time limit to you obtain your CDL permit. You'll get that, of course, with the Secretary of State. There are 2 Secretary of States that provide CDL services. You will take a written test, and then it encompasses the knowledge as well as the air brake and passenger portions, those endorsements. Once you obtain those, you contact back our office, and then you move forward to the next step. So that is what's done on the HR end of it. And then after that, if one of our managers want to kick in and piggyback off that.
All right, thank you so much. So the next question, and I'd love to hear from as many people who'd like to share on this one as possible. What do you wish that you knew when you started your career at the CTA?
That's kind of deep.
Well, I mean, I was just talking about this to a group of people last night, union members. I wish I knew and had the discipline, the financial literacy, and the discipline to save and do things, because a lot of our members will be the opportunity and the income level that we bring in. We could be so much more advanced in owning things, buying things, and saving. The CTA, the salary is the salary. If you put in the work, the salary is a great salary. If you take that salary, you can do a multitude of things. And I think one of the things that I wish that I had was the discipline. I had the financial literacy. I didn't have the discipline. Because if I had the discipline, when I was a part-time in my younger years, I own half of the South Side, right?
One thing I can say, and it's not so much I wish that I knew, because I had no way of knowing until I went through this process of being here all this time. But I wish that if I had known how much growth opportunity was here at the CTA, I would have spread the word to others, like, you know, some of my family or some of my friends, you know, because when I first came here, you know, I was like, you're gonna drive a bus? Like, who drives a bus, right? But little did they know, right? I'm a general manager now, you know, so if I knew the opportunity that existed and the potential for growth, then I would have shared that information, but I do it now. But if I knew that, then yeah, I would have spread the word, encourage more people to come.
For me, I wish I knew how quickly time flies. I remember starting here, my kids were little kids. They were like in preschool, and now they're like college graduates. I just wish I don't know, had planned my career out a little better, but I'll be done. I'll have my 26 years in about 4 years. So I just didn't know time flew. And it was difficult. There were times I wanted to leave, but I'm really grateful that I stayed, and I'm still here. Great company to work for.
Love that. Thank you so much. Dar, did you want to add anything? I don't want to cut it off before. You're good? All right. And the next question, one of the next questions that came in, and this is, some of these questions are kind of like a combination of a number of people asking these same things. And Marisa, you actually gave a great list before, so I'm wondering if maybe you could revisit it. What are some of the advancement or growth opportunities that exist for this career and beyond?
An operator can become a line instructor. They can go into instruction. They can become a supervisor in our bus service management department. They can become a clerk at any of our 7 bus garages. They can also, as I mentioned, go into management. In transportation, they can work in other departments. They can work in human resources. Oh, and then also too, one thing I forgot to mention, and I mentioned it earlier, our control center is world-class. Again, it's the equivalent to the 911 center, but it's focused on CTA, and it's here for our bus operators to give them instruction and direction. So yes, that's what we have to offer.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And obviously, most everybody, I mean, everybody on this call is also a testament to the growth and advancement opportunities that do truly exist. So that was really great. I think this is a question for Dara, if you're aware of a little bit more on this. Is CTA background friendly?
So we do a thorough background check. We do fingerprinting. We definitely do a third-party hire right. But I don't want that to discourage individuals because there are circumstances where we can take a case to a committee and what our committee will vote on. So I encourage everybody, if you are very much so interested in an opportunity for working for this organization, please apply. I want to be very transparent. Of course, there are committees that will go and request additional information if there's something that comes up, but we definitely like to give opportunities. We're very, very much so promoting second chances and different things like that. Apply today.
And I think another statement, Dara, in the presentation, to reiterate, can you go over the vaccination policy? Do I need to be vaccinated in order to work at the CTA?
You broke up a little bit, but you're asking about the vaccination policy, correct? Yes. So CTA requires that all of our employees be fully vaccinated. You have to be at least 2 weeks fully vaccinated before your start date. So if it is the Johnson & Johnson, of course, it's the 1 dose. And if it's either the Moderna or the Pfizer, it would have to be both doses. You would have to have them for at least 2 weeks fully before you can start with the organization. So that is currently our policy right now.
Thank you. Another question, someone asked about, they're having a hard time filling out the job application because of challenges with getting into the system. How can they be assisted or who can they contact?
So if you're having any issues with logging into your portal, maybe you're locked out, that email address that you see is CTA Careers at Transit Chicago. Email that concern to that email, and then we will route it to the correct individual who will contact you and help you get back established into your portal so that you can apply for the many opportunities we have here at the CTA. So don't worry, email. We have individuals monitoring that email 24/7. You will get a response within a 24-hour time frame.
Thank you for that. Another question for Keith. Keith, we have somebody asking you to speak a little bit more about your experience of transitioning from 25 years as a bus operator to president of the union.
That's not easy. It wasn't easy. I started as a union rep at Chicago Avenue Garage. Chicago Avenue at the time was about 700 and some members. I think at the highest we had 750, over 750. So I was a union rep for 11 years, and driving a bus, driving Madison, 15 of them years. Actually one of the best streets in the system, you ask me. My favorite street out of all the streets I've driven. The transition is not easy. It's a lot of work because I had to maintain my career on the bus and make sure I did the job as a bus operator. And then on the days that I did the union, handle the members' business as well. So it wasn't easy, but it's a great task, a great challenge. And you always want to see people do better than what's in front of them. So that's the challenge that I put before myself every day, to try to make it better every day. So it's not an easy transition. It's a lot of work, a lot of time. I don't have enough time on here to go through all the details, but it's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and you have to care. You have to be willing to fight and stand up against people like Miss Akindele and AJ. AJ was a terrible bus driver. No, I'm just joking. She was slow. She was a slow bus driver, but she good. But it's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of commitment to do both.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that, Keith. I'm sure Alana will follow up with you on the last thing you said after this. Another question that has come in is, and maybe Dara, you can speak to this a little bit. How long should someone expect the hiring process to take?
Yes, so the hiring process takes a little bit over 30 days. Remember, when you come in, you're doing your background, your fingerprinting, and all of that good stuff. And as of right now, sometimes things are a little bit slow, especially after the pandemic. The court systems are a little slow getting back to us with statuses of our candidates. You'll have your medical visit. So we're waiting on those results to get back. So we give a timeline of about 30 days. It can be less, it could be more, but I like to kind of stick to that process just to manage expectations.
Thank you. And I would actually just add to that a little bit. The 30 days would typically be once someone has accepted an offer and is in that pre-employment or pre-hire stage, kind of from beginning to end. It can vary by job, but it can take 4 to 6 weeks. That can include the testing, the interviews, any kind of necessary pre-hire work. You are in contact with the recruitment team about where you are in the process as you're selected to move forward to next steps. So any additional steps that you might need to take, they'll contact you typically by email. So we do a lot of communication through email. So you definitely want to make sure that you're checking your email on a regular basis and completing any requests that are asked in a timely manner so that there are no delays in the process. If you ever have any questions, again, we're going to keep coming back to that email address that's on the screen, the CTA careers@transitchicago.com. We do have folks who are in that inbox and checking and moving those emails along to the right contacts so that we can get you connected when you do have questions. And for the most part, you can check the status of your application by logging into that portal that Dara talked about a little bit earlier. So you definitely want to be sure that you're checking in on the status of your own application by logging into that portal. Thank you so much, Dara. Let's see. A couple more questions that have come in.
Can I say something too?
You sure may. Go ahead.
Hey, look, being a bus operator to me is a good job, right? You're outside all day, you're your own boss. I hate to say it this way, but you're the captain of your own ship on that bus. You only see the manager when you get in trouble or when you do something wrong. It's a wonderful job. The opportunities, like everybody's saying, is phenomenal. It's based on your ability and how you carry yourself. The window is wide open for you. You just gotta be brave enough to take that first step, you know, and it's not an easy job in the beginning, but you got a lot of support and a lot of people that's gonna make sure that you see it through. That's one of the main things that I push as a union. You stay with the new people, you help them, you encourage them, you guide them. This is a wonderful place to retire from. I kind of disagree with their wording on the pension because everybody that's a bus operator full-time is in the pension. The 401k and the other stuff is optional. Listen to what I'm saying. You are into a pension. That is something that is dying across America. Companies are taking away pensions, which means are different from you getting $3,000 a month for the rest of your life versus you getting a lump sum that you're gonna blow in a year or two. It's a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful career. Right now is a golden opportunity. It's a golden opportunity because coming out of COVID, I think transit is gonna be reshaped. I think it's gonna be a bigger demand. And I think as people say down south, to strike the iron when it's hot right now. So I encourage everybody, fill out that application. Take the chance. Step up to the challenge. The reward is so much greater than the challenge.
That was the perfect wrap-up statement, Keith. So we thank you and appreciate you. That concludes the time that we have for our question and Q&A session today. I'm going to turn it back over to Lindsay to wrap us up. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Delon. Just a quick plug for you all to follow us on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is where we share updates about our jobs. Of course, it's not the only place that we share those updates. Of course, on our website, you can see all the available posts as well. But it's a way for you to learn a little bit more about our careers at CTA and also get a look into what it's like to work here. So we encourage you to follow us at Chicago Transit Authority. Next. So we just want to wrap up by saying a huge thank you to everybody who's on the call today. Thank you, of course, to our guests from the union from 241, Keith Hill, to bus operations, Arlana and Marisa. We always appreciate your time. To the recruitment team, Dawn and Dara and Andrew, thanks for spending the last hour with us as well. We hope that you liked what you heard today. We hope that you learned a lot about the full-time bus operator position. If there are other jobs that you're interested in, you can also see postings for those jobs at transitchicago.com/career. If you're interested in the full-time bus operator position, you can go ahead and head over to that website as well and start your application right away. And we do hope to see, like Arlana said, we've had about 100 people on the call or so. We would love to see 100 applications come in after this event. So if you have any other questions, you can email us ctacareers@transitchicago.com. And again, we hope to hear from many of you in the very near future. So with that, I will wrap us up. I will end us for the day and wish everybody a great rest of your Wednesday. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.